Good morning, church family. How are you this morning? I know you can't answer me, but maybe tell someone else who's with you how you're going this morning. I know this is a difficult part of church, and I hope that you're adapting to this new way of doing things. And I really hope that this week you've been able to take some time to stop and pause and reflect on how good our God is. Because despite all of the circumstances that are happening around us, He is still so good. This morning, I'm excited to share with you that we've got our guest speaker. He's all the way from London this morning, sharing a message with us. His name is Nicky Gumbel, and he is the founder of the Alpha Course, which some of you may have done before. Or maybe quite familiar with. So he's our guest speaker, and he's going to be talking this morning around choosing to have faith rather than fear. This message that we're listening to was recorded a couple of weeks back. You'll see that there's still people in his congregation, which is quite different to how we are right now. But I think the words of his message are so true and really real for us right now. I don't know about you and how you're going with it all, but I found myself a couple of weeks back actually in this real focus on fear, and it drew me to a panic. Now I'd been quite cool, calm and collected for the most part of all this, even with schools changing and not so many kids around and everything up in the air. I was pretty calm. And then we got a text from my mum one day, and she knew someone in Rocky that thought the restrictions were going to get super, super strict, where we weren't going to be allowed out of our houses and not as strict as they are at the moment. And it wasn't something that many people knew about. So I went to the shops that day, and normally Dan and I, we just grab a basket worth of stuff. That does us for a while. There's just the two of us. And this day I started off with a basket, and on the outside I was walking cool, calm, and collected, but on the inside I just felt this overwhelming fear, this fear that what if I can't buy any food anymore? What if I'm not going to be able to buy flour for the next couple of weeks? What will I do? And how will I be able to get fresh milk and that sort of stuff? And by this stage, there was no flour, no toilet paper, no pasta, all those sorts of things. And as I was walking down the aisles, I just felt myself getting really fearful, really worried, and just focused on the fear, focused on the negative. And after about the small trolley's worth full of stuff, I got to the car and I texted Dan. I said, Dan, it's hit me. Like it's finally hit me. But I got to my car and I was a bit teary and a bit worried, but I had this overwhelming sense that the only way to get rid of this fear was to focus on God. And I jammed out to some worship tunes, and I talked to God on the way home, and by the time I got home, there was still some fear, but for the most part, I felt really at peace. And this morning, I hope that as we worship together with these songs, we've got some pretty cool worship leaders this morning, that I hope that you would be able to just reflect on that our God is so good that we don't need to be fearful because He's got us. He's got us. And I hope that for you, that is a reality. That you believe that, and that you know that with your heart. And I pray that this morning as we worship, there'll be some songs that you'll be able to sing really loud and proud to, and there's one that you might find quite reflective. And I hope that you'll be able to sit, maybe in silence, maybe singing along, and just reflecting on the fact that God is good and that we can focus on Him. And after the message this morning, I've thrown in, it's going to be a bit of a random song, but it's really fun. I discovered it a couple of days ago, And every time I hear it, I just want to dance. And it's sort of like got that folk sort of sounding to it with like a piccolo or a fiddle thing. I don't know, but it's lots of fun. My challenge to you is to not tap your feet. But you might want to find yourselves dancing and jumping around the house. This isn't a song that we're going to necessarily be playing in church, but just one that I thought would bring some joy into your life and into your household wherever you are.